A request has been placed for me to draw the best-selling fragrance from Memo Paris, African Leather. I've been wearing it every day and everywhere I went for a whole week. I even borrowed the bottle to see if there were any differences from the sample. There were not. No differences. We can all trust the samples we order. And still to this day, I cannot say that I fully understood and grasped the fragrance. It's so powerfully abstract. A niche quality crowd pleaser while still retaining originality. African Leather by Memo. The notes may be quite misleading because everything is blended and mixed to perfection and there's not a single one standing out. Still, it's a combination of cardamom, leather, saffron, cumin, vetiver, patchouli, geranium, oud, bergamot, and musk. Now, there have been some speculations on the internet that African Leather kind of resembles Les du Désert Marocain by Andy Tower. Luckily, I not only have a sample beside me, but I also did a review on Tower's Moroccan Air. Now, if that smells as if bees opened a dusty spice market inside their waxy homes, African Leather is like staying at a luxury hotel, which was built in the middle of the desert. I could see why people would perceive them as similar fragrances. They both fall into the spicy, aromatic, and earthy category, but they're very different. African Leather is a lot more fresh and zesty, almost sparkling with life, whereas Les du Désert Marocain is more dusty and secretive. African Leather is supposed to be a leather fragrance, right? To tell you the truth, I kind of struggle to detect that leather note. It's there only subconsciously, giving the perfume some great depth and density. I've told you that one shouldn't rely on the notes completely. To my nose, their combination smells a bit like pineapples dried in the leather pouch. There's also some fruity sourness, reminiscent of black currants. And even, you can call me crazy, but something in there reminded me of apples. Apple brandy, perhaps? The direction it's heading, simply put, is a combination of something heavy and fresh. African Leather is a heavy and heady fragrance. Or is it? I'd say it's heavy without feeling so. The freshest, heavy perfume. It's sparkling in the beginning. Very long-lasting, especially on clothing, complex, assertive, and dominant, strong with a touch of sweetness and sourness, an incarnation of smoky spiciness, highly posh, elegant, and quite wild. I always test the perfume I'm reviewing on skin, my test subjects, on paper, and on clothing. African Leather lasted days when lightly misted on my wool coat. It felt pure and the smell was just as it's intended to be. On paper the smell was very similar, but evaporated faster. Now what happened on skin was a different story. It seems that the perfume is quite sensitive to its wearer's chemistry. Every skin African Leather gets to land on seems to generate its own twist. Some new shades and impressions may appear. The left side symbolizes how the fragrance acts on paper, and the right side, how it acts on skin. My test subject's skin summoned a wild incense note and became quite sweet. On me, African Leather became an African forest. It felt fruity and even a wild blackcurrant sourness appeared. Always test the perfume you're interested in on your skin. I was so surprised to learn that on my friend's skin it became almost unrecognizable and not too pleasant, I may add. Now what happens on a piece of clothing is pure magic. African Leather. Now how much Africa is in it? I mean true Africa. I had the luxury to visit North Africa, but according to the perfume bottle, they're aiming for the central part, right? A true safari where one, quote, witnesses a dance, a true ballet of manes, paws, scales, and leather, unquote. The perfume is very colorful. What I'm painting here is a tapestry of shades which could fully represent the smell. Fresh and zesty yellow, brownish leather, and spices, dark green bushes and dry hay. It's not a photorealistic smell of dusty savanna and exotic pelts drying in the sun. Thank God that it's not. Rather, it's Africa through a perfumer's eyes. It's not true Africa, it's how someone would imagine it to be. As if you visited a friend who's got this trophy wall, this Africa-oriented surface, a framed piece of dried bergamot, a wildcat's teeth necklace, a poster of Indiana Jones, and a random landscape piece. This is how African leather smells like to me. I had the chance to experience this fragrance on a friend, even long before I knew what exactly I was smelling. She mentioned that she bought it for her husband, but they both used it, and the smell fit their family wonderfully. It's one of those scents that feels heavier on someone else, but when you're the one who's wearing it, it's actually quite refreshing. I was living the whole week haunted by cheetah furs and Indiana Jones vibes. A unisex creation which requires you to be assertive, dominant, and strong. But what if this smell gives you such power? A beautiful, one-of-a-kind composition, very recognizable and elegant. If I had to put it in a few words, it's a refreshing and heavy, sour and sweet, spicy and leathery smell. Quite abstract and ever-changing, full of dualities. African leather. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the other one the next week. Bye.